I'm glad that you enjoyed the film. I do want to say, though, that I had no writing credits, no nothing, in that I was just one little piece in that whole thing. And it was a little nerve-wracking at first. My palms were sweaty, my knees were shaking. I didn't know exactly what to expect, but I'm just so thankful. In every season of my life as a young 27-year-old, you roll with the punches. You don't know what's around the corner until you go around the corner. And tonight I've been asked to delightfully, I say yes to the request of me sharing just a little bit of motivation and inspiration for you in your own life. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're going through. I'm not here to pretend that I understand what you're going through or how you feel in your life. And it's funny when you see a man without arms and legs up on stage with a smile. You sort of subconsciously compare your suffering to my suffering, and in your own mind, your conclusion is that, well, you'll never complain again in your life because you can't imagine how it would be without limbs. However, I believe it's worse actually being in a broken home than having no arms, no legs. And I used to say that I believe that the biggest disability of all is fear, but after watching that film, I want to maybe change it up a little bit. I think the biggest disability that we have as human beings is unbelief. Everything starts with a vision, and a man without vision dies. And for you here at Full Sail University, I personally have seen a lot of things. I've seen a lot of good things. I've traveled 35 countries. I've spoken to 5 presidents and 4 congresses, and 750 million people around the world know about my story. But man, I need to tell you something. I went for a tour with John and Esther for the entire afternoon around this university. And I seriously salute you. I salute you, John. I salute your wife. I salute your whole team here and what you're achieving here. And you students, there is something so special here. And I was telling John, I just hate the idea of potential being wasted in this world. And to see what's happening here just really inspires me. But anyway, I want to congratulate you on your success. But I hope whoever you are and wherever you are in your life, you're going to be inspired. But before we get into any more serious stuff, I need to open up with a couple funny stories, actually. I always open up with a couple funny stories. When people come and meet me, they don't know what to do with me. Do I shake his hand or, whatever. And I just hug people. I'm a hugging machine. I've hugged about 350,000 people. We're actually breaking the World Guinness Book of Records of hugs. In 3 weeks, we're going to be hugging 1,200 individuals in 1 hour. And no, they're not going to just pass me down the line, all right? But it's really cool how, and I'm not kidding about that, but husbands, they allow me to hug their wives because they know I'm not going to lay a hand on them or anything. But every now and then I get a little nervous that someone's just going to come up, pick me up, and take me home. It's like, what am I going to do, right? Nothing much. But look, I like to cause some trouble here and there. When you're having a boring day, you got to change it up, do something you haven't done before. So one day I was on a plane. I was, complaining about my leg room on the plane, and so my friends put me in the overhead compartment. They put me up there, and I could stretch my legs. No, they put me up there, and I wanted to freak someone out. So. Yeah, we did. We closed the door. I mean, seriously, if I get in trouble, what are they going to do? Handcuff me or something? Seriously. So, you can cause a little bit of trouble here and there, but I have to tell you, there was this one day where I was in a car, and I'm in the front seat of the vehicle, and don't worry, I wasn't driving or anything like that. But we were there, and we're waiting for the lights to change, and this car comes up next to us, and this girl is looking at me. So I'm looking at her, and she's looking at me. I'm looking at her, and I'm thinking, cool. I'm like, I want to freak the heck out of her. So I know from the other side, from the outside of the vehicle, when you look in and you see me, all you see is my head from the side. So you have no idea that I have no arms, no legs. So I grab the seatbelt in my mouth, and I loosen it like this so then I can freely move. Now she's looking at me all weird because I'm eating my seatbelt. But with that undivided attention, knowing all she sees is my head, just imagine that's all you see, I just did this. It was incredible, man. I tell you, it was awesome. It was awesome. Anyway, I have a lot of funny stories, and as I was growing up as a child, I would be quite envious of everybody else around me who had arms and legs, including my brother and sister at times. I was born without limbs for no medical reason. There are times in life where things happen and don't make sense, and I was just sitting on a plane seat next to this guy who was going to visit his mum, and his stepfather just died on Friday. They're burying him tomorrow or the day after, and, I was talking with him a little bit, and, there are just some things that we won't understand in this life. There are some times where you're going to wish that you could rewind and do things all over again. There are times where you just wish you could forget memories, and you try to drown those memories in alcohol or different pleasures, and maybe get distracted by the goals and ambitions of your life and try to put the past behind and move forward. We're all human beings. Please don't get me wrong. I don't wake up every morning with a smile on my face like, "Hi, everybody!" I have ups and downs. You see my foot? Ups and downs, ups and downs. The first thing I want you to take away from today is this. You will have good days and you'll have bad days, but you will always learn something more or something new, and you will learn more overall on bad days than good days. You will learn more about yourself, you'll learn more about relationships, you'll learn about life and principles, and it'll build your character. If you're a person who wants to, let's say, improve on your character of patience, let's say, don't complain when you're waiting in a line. You ain't going to grow in patience until you're put in a place to wait. It's like you go into a gym and, you walk in through the front doors and, you tell your wife or your husband, "I'm going to the gym." You go into the gym and you come in 3 feet and you do a U-turn and you ride out, "I went to the gym." Ain't gonna do nothing. You gotta go in there, and what are you gonna do? You gotta pick up the weights, and you exercise the muscles that you want to build. I stand before you without arms and legs, but a very strong man because of the bad days in my life. You know how it is. If you didn't go what you've gone through, you wouldn't be who you are today. And I'm not belittling your pain, and don't worry, I've seen pain in my life, and I've seen not only in my life, but people's lives, and people say, "Well, at least I have no arms, no legs," and then what am I supposed to say? Well, at least I'm not an African orphan who's dying at 4 years old, and I met that person. What about the 10-year-old girl that was bought for $700 in Mumbai and kidnapped as a sex slave to have 350 clients before the age of 13, pregnant at 12, put the baby under the bed while she works on top, abandoned by her family? After she pays her debt of $700 after 3 years with her child, she leaves on the streets of Mumbai hoping for a new life. No family, no job, no food. Her baby needs food. She gets raped, beaten up on the street. She comes back to the only way that she knows how to make money. She goes back to the brothels. She gets pregnant at 15 the second time, and then that child dies. And at 20 years old, she comes up to me. Yes, I have met this woman. She comes up crying. She says, "Nick, I just found out I got HIV/AIDS. And I got fired from being a prostitute." What do you say to that? You may have arms and legs, but unless you know 3 things. Number 1, who are you and what your value is? Number 2, what is your purpose here in life? And number 3, what is your destiny when you're done here? If you don't know the answers of any of those 3 questions, you're more disabled than I. I love all people. I just want to make that the foundation. Love, 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 love. So, my parents were Christian. And I hated God. Hate's a strong word. I hated Him. So why did He give me less? What did I do to deserve that? These kids who pick on me at school, they deserve not to have no arms, no legs. Not me. So I read about this God. This God of love. Yeah, right. God has a plan. Yeah, right. God is not partial. Nope. So, it took me a journey. I asked him why. Why was I born this way? And it was 7 years later, from age 8, telling my mum that I wanted to commit suicide. I was 15 years old, actually, 7 years later, that I read a story in this book, the Bible. And there was a man who was born blind, and no one knew why he was born that way. And I'm like, bing, wow. Pretty similar to something I know of. Why? Well, he said so that the display of God and His power can be seen and displayed. And I didn't even read on. I didn't even read on at 15. I heard about miracles, and I didn't know where my miracle was. I'm not against miracles. I've actually seen blind people seeing, deaf people hearing, lame people walking. I've actually had a miracle in my back. I'll send you MRI scans if you wish. But I'm about to get a doctor's official report of an unexplainable healing in my spinal cord. It was hollowing. I was at 19. My orthopedic surgeon said he's going to have to put rods in my back by 35 years old, and I'll be bedridden for the rest of my life. And I didn't want to hear that, so I didn't want to hear anything about it. I had a hole at the top of my spine, about an inch or something, and a hole at the bottom of my spine. It was irreversible, incurable. And went to go back for an MRI scan because I started getting numbing of my nerves and my muscles because of the pinching of my spine of a 55-degree curve in my back, scoliosis. So I went back to the MRI scan, and guess what? The top hole's gone. The bottom hole has just got a little pinhole left, and I've got a pair of shoes in my closet just in case he says yes to me with the other things. And I'm not joking. Now, what happened was at 15, I said, you know what? If you had a plan for the blind man, then you got a plan for me. Whether that means you give me arms and legs or not, I trust you. Because you saved me from something else, much worse than having no arms, no legs, and that's the belief that Jesus did die for my sins, then I don't have to die for mine. I will plead guilty of having other idols before me, misusing the Lord's name in vain, not keeping the Sabbath day holy, not honoring my parents, killing people. I'm a murderer by God's standard because I hate people. That's the Bible, what it says. So I've hated people. So I'm going to plead guilty to any one of those. So knowing now that I have been forgiven and I'm a work in progress, I'm not perfect, I'm a work in progress, but forgiven and have eternity. I'd rather have 90 years with no arms, no legs than to see little Daniel with no arms, no legs here on earth and come to heaven with his new body and say, Nick, thank you for being my older brother on earth. If it's only for the one soul, I'm thankful. So that is the truth in the closure and fullness of who I am. Every girl is a princess. And I believe that God becomes like your father and you're his daughter. Daughter to a king is a princess. So you're royalty. You were made for royalty. You are wearing a dress. You may just be in a wrong castle. Your value, your purpose, your destiny. Your purpose is to love and love. Destiny, that's for me. So that's my story with that. And everything else is more in full in my book coming out on the 26th of October. So I encourage you to get that too, right, Wes? It's going to be very good. And we're excited. But I want to thank you for the question. I want to thank you for your respect. I want to thank you, though, most of all, for your love. I feel it. I thank you for it. And it's just been wonderful here. I've personally been inspired. I've personally been blessed. So thank you, guys. And if you want to know more, just Google Nick Vojcich, and you will find me. Love you guys. You're the man.